Why some people never find love? A sign from Allah. Why is it that some people go through life never finding the love they long for? Why do relationships never seem to work out for them, no matter how hard they try? You might think it's bad luck. Maybe you've questioned yourself, wondering if something is wrong with you. But what if I told you that this isn't a curse, but a sign? A sign that Allah is protecting you from something you don't yet understand. My dear brothers and sisters, not everyone is meant to walk the same path. Some people are kept away from love, romance, and attachment for reasons beyond what the eye can see. And in Islam, when Allah removes something from your life, it is never without wisdom. Imam Ash-Shafi'i, rahimahullah, said, "If you knew how Allah deals with your affairs for you, your heart would melt out of love for Him." So before you see this as a misfortune, before you let heartbreak consume you, let's uncover the 7 reasons why some people are kept away from romance and what it truly means in the grand plan of Allah. Reason 1. When Allah protects you from the wrong person. Have you ever found yourself getting close to someone only for things to suddenly fall apart? Maybe you thought they were the one, but somehow the relationship never worked out. At the time it felt painful, maybe even unfair. But now, looking back, you realize that had you stayed, it would have only brought you suffering. My dear brothers and sisters, in Islam, when something keeps failing over and over again, it's often a sign of protection, not punishment. Allah removes people from your life because He knows what you don't. The Quran reminds us, but perhaps you hate a thing, and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing, and it is bad for you. And Allah knows, while you do not know. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:16. Think about our society today. How many people rush into relationships only to be left heartbroken, betrayed, or spiritually lost? Sometimes when you don't get what you want, it's because Allah is saving you from something that would have destroyed you. The real question is, do you trust Allah's plan? Or do you keep chasing what Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is pulling you away from? Because the sooner you accept that Allah's wisdom is greater than your desires, the sooner you'll find true peace. Reason 2. When Allah protects you from what could corrupt your faith. In today's world, relationships are treated like a casual game, temporary, disposable, and often built on desires rather than true commitment. People enter relationships for fun, not realizing that every bond leaves a mark on the heart. And when the heart becomes attached to the wrong person, it can lead to spiritual blindness, where you start justifying what is haram, forgetting your purpose, and even drifting away from Allah. But Islam is clear. A relationship outside of marriage is not just wrong, it's dangerous for your soul. The Prophet Muhammad said, "When a man and a woman are alone together, the third one present is Shaitan." Sunan at-Tirmidhi, 2165. Many people don't take this seriously. They assume that as long as they mean well, it's okay. How many people have been spiritually destroyed by haram relationships? How many people have lost their peace, self-worth, and even their connection with Allah, just to win the approval of someone who was never destined for them? If love has been elusive in your life, it may be because Allah is shielding your heart from harm. He knows that the wrong love can lead to your downfall, while the right love, rooted in faith and commitment, will only draw you closer to Him. But here's the real test. Will you trust in Allah's plan and remain patient? Or will you keep pursuing what He is pulling you away from? Reason 3. When Allah wants you to focus on something greater. Have you ever noticed how some people seem consumed by the idea of relationships? They spend years chasing love, getting hurt, and losing themselves in the process, while others seem to have a higher purpose guiding their lives. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes when romance is absent from your life, it's because Allah is redirecting you towards something far more important. Instead of being distracted by emotions, heartbreak, or the pursuit of temporary happiness, He wants you to focus on building yourself, your faith, and your future. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Whoever focuses on the hereafter, Allah places richness in their heart, organizes their affairs, and the world comes to them humbled. But whoever focuses only on this world, Allah places poverty between their eyes and makes their affairs scattered, and they only receive from the world what was written for them." Sunan ibn Majah 4105. Look at history. Some of the greatest people, those who changed the world, left behind legacies and strengthened their faith, did not let their lives revolve around relationships. Instead, they used their time to build something meaningful. So the question is, are you wasting your time chasing romance? Or are you using this period of solitude to strengthen your relationship with Allah and work towards something greater? Because the reality is, when you prioritize Allah, everything else falls into place. Reason 4. When you learn to control your desires, instead of being controlled by them. Let's be real. We are not robots. Every human has emotions, desires, and a natural longing for companionship. Islam does not ask us to suppress our feelings, but to control them within the boundaries of faith. This is what separates true believers from those who simply follow their own desires. While the world teaches us to act on every impulse, Islam teaches us to discipline our emotions. Allah says in the Quran, "But as for he who feared the position of his Lord and prevented the soul from inclination, then, indeed, paradise will be his refuge." Surah An-Naziat 79:40-41. The difference between a strong person and a weak person is, who controls whom? Do you control your desires, or do your desires control you? Because in today's world, most people don't even try to hold themselves accountable. They follow whatever feels good in the moment, regardless of whether it's right or wrong. But if you've been struggling with this, know that this struggle itself is a sign of faith. If Allah has given you the awareness to fight against what He has forbidden, then you are already on a different path than most. The key is to redirect your emotions towards something meaningful. Because in Islam, discipline over desire is what leads to true success. The question is, are you using this time to build your strength? Or are you giving in to the same cycle that leads others astray? Reason 5. When Allah teaches you that true fulfillment comes from Him. In today's world, people are told that they need someone else to feel complete. If they are single, they feel like something is missing. If they are in a relationship, they feel validated. But Islam teaches us something deeper. Our true fulfillment does not come from people, but from our connection with Allah. As humans, we are not complete on our own. We are created weak, dependent, and in constant need of Allah's guidance and mercy. The problem is, many people try to fill this void with relationships, thinking that another person will heal them, fix them, or make them whole. But in reality, no human can fill a space that was meant to be filled by Allah. When love seems distant, a sign from Allah. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Whoever seeks the pleasure of Allah at the cost of displeasing people, Allah will be pleased with him and will cause people to be pleased with him. But whoever seeks to please people at the cost of displeasing Allah, Allah will be displeased with him and will cause people to be displeased with him." Sunan ibn Majah 4020. So, if you feel alone, if love has never worked out for you, maybe it's because Allah wants you to build your relationship with Him first, before seeking love from His creation. Because no matter how strong a relationship is, it will always be temporary. The only love that is eternal, that never fails, and that never leaves you empty, is the love of Allah. The real question is, are you seeking validation from people? Or are you seeking closeness to the one who created you? Because when you find peace with Allah, everything else will follow in its right time. Reason number 6, when you are being prepared for something greater. Sometimes, when love seems distant, when relationships don't work out, and when you feel isolated, it's not rejection, it's preparation. Allah removes certain things from your life not to deprive you, but to prepare you for something far greater than you can imagine. Maybe it's a test to strengthen your heart, a sign that you have a mission that requires your full attention. Or maybe, just maybe, Allah is keeping you away from distractions so that He can give you something even better at the right time. The Prophet Muhammad said, "No slave of Allah will truly believe until he believes in Al-Qadr, divine decree, both the good and the bad, and until he knows that what has befallen him was never going to miss him, and what missed him was never meant to be his." Sunan at-Tirmidhi, 2144. Look at the lives of great scholars, leaders, and those who made a difference in this world. Many of them didn't live lives full of romance and attachments. Instead, they devoted themselves to something higher, and in doing so, they found fulfillment that no worldly relationship could ever bring. So, if you feel like Allah has been keeping you away from love, ask yourself, could this be a sign that you are being prepared for something greater? Maybe a test of patience, a higher calling, or a lesson that will change your life forever, because in the end, the one who trusts Allah's plan always wins. Reason 7, when your patience is your greatest test. Nothing in life happens without a purpose. If love has been kept away from you, it's not by accident. It's a test of patience, of trust, and of your ability to submit to Allah's plan rather than your own desires. Many people fail this test. They rush into relationships without considering whether it pleases Allah. They let loneliness push them toward haram. But those who remain patient, those who choose faith over fleeting emotions, they are the ones whom Allah honors. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Whoever remains patient, Allah will make him patient, and no one is given a gift better and more vast than patience." Sahih Al-Bukhari, 1469. Patience is not about waiting, it's about trusting. Trusting that what is written for you will come at the right time. Trusting that if Allah has withheld something, it is because He knows what you do not. So ask yourself, will you allow your loneliness to make you desperate? Or will you use it as a chance to strengthen your relationship with Allah? Because at the end of the day, every test you endure now is shaping you for what's ahead. And those who trust Allah's timing are never disappointed. Final reflection. Do you trust His timing? My dear brothers and sisters, if love and relationships have always seemed distant in your life, know that it is not a punishment. It is part of Allah's plan. Whether it's to protect you, to prepare you, or to strengthen your faith, Allah never withholds something without reason. But the real question is, do you trust His timing, or are you still chasing something He is pulling you away from? Before you sleep tonight, take a moment to reflect. Have I been patient with Allah's plan, or have I been rushing my own? Am I seeking love in a way that pleases Allah, or am I following my desires? If I were to stand before Allah today, would I be content with the choices I've made? Here's a simple dua to carry with you. Ya Allah, grant me patience in what I do not understand, and contentment in what you have written for me. If this message touched your heart, comment below, Ya Allah, make me content with your plan. Your words might inspire someone else who is struggling with the same test. And if you found this reminder beneficial, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free for you, but it helps us continue spreading messages that bring us closer to Allah. May Allah guide us all, protect our hearts, and bless us with what is truly best for us. Ameen.